Throughout history, animals have been woven into the fabric of myth and legend, often as symbols of power, prophecy, or destruction. From ancient civilizations to modern folklore, creatures have been portrayed as both harbingers of catastrophe and guardians of wisdom. Whether warning of impending doom or acting as agents of the supernatural, animal myths tell extraordinary stories about human fears, beliefs, and the forces of nature. In this exploration, we'll dive into legendary creatures, historical omens, and mythological disasters to uncover how animals have shaped humanity's understanding of fate and catastrophe. For centuries, birds have captured human imagination as symbols of prophecy, fate, and transformation. Across cultures and religions, they are seen as harbingers of death, messengers of the gods, or bringers of wisdom. Their ability to soar through the sky has led many civilizations to believe that birds hold secrets of the divine, bridging the gap between the earthly and the supernatural. From ravens signaling doom to doves bringing peace, birds have shaped myths, folklore, and spiritual beliefs in profound ways. Let's explore their role in ancient omens, prophetic legends, and their lasting influence on human interpretation of fate. Birds of death, harbingers of tragedy. Many bird species are associated with death, darkness, and misfortune, often appearing in stories as forewarnings of tragedy or supernatural messengers of the underworld. Ravens and crows, symbols of doom. Ravens and crows have long been linked to the afterlife, seen as omens of death or symbols of mourning. In Norse mythology, Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin, were known to carry messages from the dead, serving as both guides and witnesses of fate. In Celtic lore, the appearance of crows before battle was believed to signal impending defeat and slaughter. In Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, the bird represents grief, despair, and an unrelenting reminder of loss. Ravens, often found lurking near battlefields or cemeteries, became cultural symbols of death, reinforcing the idea that they forewarned the end of life. Owls and the dark secrets of night. Owls, known for their nocturnal presence, have historically been associated with dark magic, prophecy, and the souls of the dead. In ancient Rome, an owl's hoot was believed to predict death, and it was said that an owl foretold Julius Caesar's assassination. In Greek mythology, however, owls were tied to wisdom through their connection to Athena, the goddess of knowledge. In Native American traditions, owls are both feared and revered, sometimes seen as guides to the spirit world but also as omens of sickness or misfortune. Despite their eerie reputation, owls also symbolize mystery and transformation, showing that their role in folklore is complex and varied. Birds of prophecy, messengers from the divine. While some birds represent death and destruction, others are seen as symbols of divine intervention and wisdom, often delivering messages from the gods or revealing important truths about fate. The dove, a symbol of peace and purity. Doves are among the most universally recognized divine messengers, representing purity, hope, and renewal. In Christianity, a dove descended upon Jesus during his baptism, symbolizing the Holy Spirit. In Greek mythology, doves were sacred to Aphrodite, representing love, beauty, and divine protection. In ancient Mesopotamia, doves were believed to carry souls between realms, acting as intermediaries between humans and gods. Doves continue to be symbols of peace, often released in ceremonies to mark new beginnings or sacred moments. Eagles, signs of strength and favor from the gods. Eagles, with their powerful flight and keen vision, are revered as symbols of divine protection and strength. In Roman mythology, the eagle was associated with Jupiter, king of the gods, and was used as an imperial emblem of authority. In Native American cultures, eagles are sacred, believed to carry prayers to the heavens, making them symbols of wisdom and spiritual guidance. In Christian symbolism, the eagle represents rebirth and eternal life, often depicted in religious art. Eagles serve as protectors, embodying the qualities of leadership, strength, and divine favor. Birds as signs of change and fate. Some birds are neither fully ominous nor purely divine but instead represent shifting fortunes, change, and transformation. Swallows and fortune. Swallows, known for their ability to migrate across vast distances, symbolize good luck and new beginnings. In European folklore, seeing the first swallow of the season was believed to bring prosperity for the year ahead. Sailors considered swallows symbols of safe passage, believing they would bring guidance home from long voyages. In China, swallows represent joy and marital happiness, often appearing in wedding symbolism. Peacocks and immortality. Peacocks, with their dazzling feathers, symbolize divine beauty, resurrection, and eternal life. In Hinduism, the peacock is linked to Lord Krishna, symbolizing protection and divine love. In Christian tradition, the eye patterns on peacock feathers were believed to represent God's ever-watchful presence. In Persian mythology, peacocks guarded the gates of paradise, serving as celestial protectors. Peacocks, much like swallows, embody positive transformation, renewal, and spiritual growth. Birds in modern superstitions and omens. Bird mythology has persisted well beyond ancient times, shaping modern superstitions and beliefs. Some examples include a bird flying into the house. In many cultures, this event foreshadows death or bad luck, unless the bird finds its way out. Seeing a blackbird at dawn, often interpreted as a warning of conflict or loss. Hearing an unexplained bird call. In certain traditions, an unfamiliar bird cry is believed to be a sign that an unseen force is trying to deliver a message. Even today, people continue to observe and interpret bird behavior, proving that their status as omens and divine messengers remains deeply ingrained in human consciousness. The enduring mystery of birds as omens. Birds, with their ability to fly between worlds, have long been viewed as agents of fate, heralding death, prophecy, and divine intervention. Whether serving as foreboding warnings or sacred messengers, they have shaped the mythologies of countless cultures, reinforcing their supernatural significance. Even in the modern era, birds continue to carry symbolic weight, from spiritual beliefs to everyday superstitions. Their presence, whether ominous, transformative, or protective, reminds us that nature itself holds profound mysteries that humanity has sought to interpret for centuries. The question remains, do birds truly predict fate, or is it our own desire to find meaning in the natural world? Regardless of the answer, one thing is certain, birds will forever be seen as guides, omens, and messengers of the unknown. Throughout history, serpents and dragons have occupied a powerful space in mythology, religion, and folklore. From ancient cultures to modern fantasy, these creatures have been viewed as symbols of chaos, destruction, renewal, and transformation. Often feared for their association with the unknown, power, and change, serpents and dragons have played dual roles, bringing calamity or guiding humanity toward wisdom and rebirth. This exploration uncovers how civilizations across the world have woven stories about these legendary creatures, interpreting them as forces that both destroy and create, reflecting human fascination with power, fate, and transformation. The serpent, a creature of duality. The serpent, present in nearly every ancient mythology, embodies contradictory forces. It represents wisdom and healing, yet also chaos and deception. Its ability to shed its skin has made it an eternal symbol of transformation, immortality, and renewal, while its association with venom has linked it to death, temptation, and destruction. Serpents as symbols of creation and wisdom. While often feared, serpents are sacred creatures in various cultures, offering knowledge, protection, and divine guidance. Egyptian mythology, the serpent Wadjet was a guardian of Lower Egypt, associated with royalty and wisdom. Pharaohs wore its image on their crowns as a symbol of divine authority and protection. Hindu tradition, in Hinduism, serpents are linked to rebirth and spiritual enlightenment. The great serpent Shisha supports the universe, while Kundalini energy, visualized as a coiled serpent, represents spiritual awakening. Aztec mythology, the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl was a god of creation and wisdom, bringing knowledge of agriculture, art, and civilization to humanity. These myths reveal how serpents are connected to cosmic power, acting as protectors and teachers rather than mere symbols of destruction. Serpents as chaos and deception. Despite their sacred associations, serpents have also been depicted as bringers of catastrophe, often tied to deception or the downfall of civilizations. Biblical symbolism. In the book of Genesis, the serpent tempts Adam and Eve, leading to their exile from the Garden of Eden, marking the serpent as a force of corruption and chaos. Greek mythology. The Lernaean Hydra, a monstrous multi-headed serpent, was a representation of death and terror, only defeated by the hero Heracles in his legendary trials. Norse mythology. Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, encircles the world and is prophesied to release its grip at the end of time, triggering Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse. Serpents symbolize change, but this change is often unpredictable. It can be enlightening or devastating, reinforcing their role as agents of chaos and fate. The dragon, a beast of destruction and guardianship. Dragons, much like serpents, are both feared and revered, appearing across mythologies as world-ending beasts or celestial protectors. These creatures are larger than life, embodying strength, chaos, wisdom, and transformation. Dragons as symbols of chaos and catastrophe. In many cultures, dragons are depicted as destructive forces, acting as adversaries to heroes or gods. European mythology. Medieval dragons were creatures of terror and destruction, often portrayed as fire-breathing beasts that hoard treasure and devour villages. Legends like St. George and the dragon reinforced the dragon's role as a symbol of evil that must be vanquished. Slavic folklore. The dragon's Goranik was a multi-headed beast that terrorized lands, breathing fire and bringing chaos until defeated by warriors. Chinese folklore. While often seen as wise creatures, dragons in Chinese mythology also had the power to control storms and floods, leading to devastation if angered. Dragons, in these myths, test humanity's strength, representing the ultimate challenge, one that requires bravery, wisdom, or divine intervention to overcome. Dragons as guardians and celestial protectors. Not all dragons are agents of destruction. Some are protectors, symbols of renewal, and bringers of fortune. Chinese mythology. Unlike European dragons, Chinese dragons are associated with wisdom, prosperity, and the forces of nature. They are seen as celestial beings, guiding emperors and controlling rainfall and river flows. Japanese mythology. Dragons are linked to water and longevity, appearing in Buddhist traditions as guardians of temples and wisdom. Mayan mythology. The vision serpent was regarded as an interdimensional messenger, offering spiritual knowledge and linking rulers to the gods. These myths reflect humanity's belief that dragons are not merely destructive monsters, they can also serve as guides and guardians, embodying balance between chaos and harmony. Serpents and dragons in modern mythology and culture. The symbolism of serpents and dragons persists in modern culture, continuing to shape storytelling, religion, and psychology. Fantasy and literature. Dragons in modern fantasy. Popular fantasy works like The Hobbit, Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter feature dragons as powerful beings, often guarding ancient secrets or treasures. Serpents in horror and mythology. Snakes continue to be symbols of fear and deception, frequently appearing in dark folklore and horror films. Transformation narratives. Dragons and serpents often represent personal transformation, such as overcoming trials, achieving enlightenment, or facing fears. Psychological and symbolic meanings. The serpent as a symbol of change. Psychologists interpret serpents as symbols of rebirth, often associated with personal growth or shedding old identities. The dragon as a representation of power. Dragons continue to symbolize hidden strength, representing overcoming obstacles or mastering forces beyond human control. The timeless appeal of dragons and serpents proves their deep-rooted connection to human consciousness, embodying our fears, dreams, and transformations. The eternal symbols of chaos and change. Serpents and dragons remain two of the most powerful mythical creatures, reflecting human beliefs about destruction, wisdom, transformation, and fate. Their contradictory nature, as both guardians and adversaries, reinforces their mystical significance in legends and modern storytelling. Whether seen as agents of doom, protectors of divine knowledge, or forces of transformation, these creatures continue to capture the human imagination, reminding us of the fragility of power, the inevitability of change, and the mystery of chaos itself. Ultimately, serpents and dragons tell us that change is unavoidable, whether it comes as destruction or enlightenment, challenging us to embrace transformation rather than fear it. Across mythology, folklore, and religious prophecy, wolves and monstrous beasts have played a crucial role as harbingers of destruction, chaos, and transformation. These creatures are often depicted as agents of the end times, either tearing apart civilizations or signaling the collapse of the old world to make way for the new. Whether in ancient legends or modern storytelling, the image of the beast as an omen of catastrophe continues to captivate human imagination. From the terrifying wolves of Norse mythology to biblical beasts signaling the apocalypse, these creatures serve as symbols of power, fear, and fate. This exploration uncovers their mythic origins, their place in prophecy, and the deeper meaning behind their legendary destruction. Fenrir, the wolf that ends the world. Among the most infamous wolves in mythology, Fenrir, the monstrous wolf of Norse legend, is prophesied to break free and devour the gods during Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse. His myth is one of both inevitability and terror, marking him as a beast of uncontrollable destruction. The legend of Fenrir. Born of Loki, Fenrir was feared for his immense size and growing power. The gods attempted to bind him in chains, but he grew stronger with each restraint until breaking free. When Ragnarok arrives, Fenrir will devour Odin, the chief god, setting off a chain of destruction that will engulf the world in flames and chaos. Fenrir represents the beast that cannot be tamed, symbolizing primal forces of destruction that no amount of control can prevent. His legend warns of the collapse of civilizations and the cyclical nature of chaos, the inevitable end that leads to rebirth. The biblical beasts of the apocalypse. The Book of Revelation, one of the most dramatic apocalyptic texts, introduces terrifying beasts that signal the end of the world. These creatures are not merely monsters but embodiments of corruption, war, and divine wrath. The beast from the sea. A seven-headed, ten-horned beast, rising from the ocean, representing the forces of chaos and global disorder. It is given power by the dragon, often interpreted as Satan, and wields control over nations and rulers. This beast brings war, tyranny, and destruction, marking the decline of human civilization. The beast from the earth. This creature exercises influence over humanity, often deceiving people into worshipping false powers. It plays a role in the prophecy of the Mark of the Beast, 666, tying it to economic and political corruption. Biblical beasts act as symbols of disaster, forewarning of great upheavals, moral corruption, and ultimate judgment. The Beast of Gévaudan, France, 18th century. One of history's most terrifying real-world beasts, the Beast of Gévaudan terrorized France's countryside between 1764 and 1767. This monstrous, wolf-like creature was said to kill dozens of people, sparking mass hysteria and supernatural speculation. Mystery and myth surrounding the beast. Described as larger than any known wolf, with supernatural speed and intelligence. Despite efforts to hunt it, no definitive explanation was ever found for the killings. Some believed the creature was not merely an animal but a divine punishment or a shapeshifter that carried apocalyptic significance. While modern theories suggest the Beast of Gavaudan could have been a rogue wolf or hybrid predator, its legend persists as one of terror, reinforcing the idea that beasts symbolize unnatural destruction and the fear of what lurks beyond human understanding. Werewolves and the Curse of the Beast. Werewolves, among the most enduring symbols of transformation and chaos, have long been feared as beasts of destruction. Stories of werewolves are not just about shape-shifting humans but about the breakdown of control, morality, and civilization. Werewolf mythology and apocalyptic themes. In medieval Europe, werewolves were often linked to curses that symbolized divine punishment. Some saw werewolves as soldiers of darkness, marking times of war and great suffering. In certain folklore, the rise of the werewolf population is seen as an omen of societal collapse. Werewolves are beasts without control, embodying the fear of losing one's humanity, a common theme in apocalyptic mythology. The enduring myth of beasts bringing disaster. The connection between beasts, wolves, and apocalypse is woven deeply into human psychology and storytelling. From ancient myth to modern horror, these creatures represent forces beyond human control, reminding us that destruction, chaos, and rebirth are inevitable parts of existence. Whether they forewarn destruction or actively bring about the end, these beasts continue to shape mythological narratives, embodying our deepest fears and fascination with transformation. Are they merely symbols of chaos, or do they represent something more profound, our own fears of losing control over the fate of our world? One thing is certain. Wolves and beasts will forever remain the omens of apocalypse, warning us of forces beyond our understanding. Throughout history, swarms of insects, mass animal migrations, and unexplained plagues have been viewed as warnings from nature, omens of disaster, signs of imbalance, or even messages of divine wrath. Whether seen as apocalyptic events or scientific phenomena, animal swarms often signal environmental disturbances, climate shifts, or deep-seated ecological disruptions. From locust plagues devastating civilizations to rats spreading deadly diseases, swarming creatures have shaped mythology, history, and even modern-day fears. Let's explore their impact, symbolism, and the science behind these unsettling natural events. Locust plagues, ancient symbols of famine and judgment. Locust swarms are among the most infamous natural disasters, capable of consuming entire fields, leading to widespread famine and economic collapse. These insects have been feared for thousands of years, appearing in historical records, religious texts, and global crises. Biblical and mythological accounts. The Bible's Book of Exodus describes a devastating locust plague, one of the 10 plagues that struck Egypt as a divine punishment. In ancient Mesopotamian and African cultures, locusts were seen as omens, warning of imbalances in nature or divine dissatisfaction. The Quran also references locust swarms as part of larger divine trials, affecting humanity. Scientific causes of locust swarms. Despite their mythic reputation, locust plagues have scientific explanations rooted in environmental conditions. Droughts followed by sudden rainfall trigger locust populations to boom. When overcrowded, locusts undergo a dramatic transformation, changing their color, behavior, and migrating in massive swarms. These insects can travel hundreds of miles, destroying vegetation and impacting food supplies worldwide. Today, locust outbreaks still threaten regions like East Africa and the Middle East, where climate changes influence their life cycles. Rat infestations and the spread of disease. While locusts symbolize famine, rats have long been linked to plague, death, and urban decay. Their ability to multiply rapidly and spread disease has fueled centuries of fear and superstition. The Black Death, rats and the bubonic plague. One of the most devastating pandemics in history, the Black Death, 1347 to 1351, was spread by rats carrying fleas infected with the bacterium Yersinia pestis. This plague wiped out nearly 50% of Europe's population, reinforcing rats as symbols of pestilence and doom. Modern urban rat infestations. conditions. While rats played a role in past pandemics, they continue to thrive in urban environments, signaling ecological and structural problems. Mass infestations indicate poor sanitation and waste management issues. Rats contribute to the spread of leptospirosis, hantavirus, and food contamination diseases. In literature and culture, they symbolize corruption, decay, and social collapse, themes present in horror stories and dystopian narratives. The association between rats and disease remains strong, making them one of the most feared swarming creatures in history. Bird swarms and the unexplained phenomena of mass die-offs. Birds have often been viewed as omens of fate, but when they swarm unexpectedly or die in large numbers, their presence raises alarm and speculation. Historical bird omens. In ancient Rome, priests called augurs studied bird flights to interpret divine messages and future events. In Norse mythology, the appearance of ravens and crows before battle was seen as a sign of bloodshed to come. In Christian tradition, birds like doves represented divine peace, while blackbirds were sometimes linked to death and misfortune. The mystery of sudden bird death. Science has attempted to explain bizarre bird die-offs, including poisoning and pollution. Chemical spills or pesticides sometimes kill flocks suddenly. Electromagnetic disturbances. Some theories suggest that bird migrations may be disrupted by electromagnetic field changes. Extreme weather. Sudden temperature drops or storms can result in mass fatalities. While explanations exist, cases of mysterious bird deaths continue to unsettle communities, leading to speculation about environmental dangers or supernatural signs. Bee disappearance, a warning of ecological collapse. Unlike locusts, rats, and birds, bees are essential to global ecosystems, acting as primary pollinators for crops and natural vegetation. Their decline could spell disaster for food production and biodiversity. Colony collapse disorder, CCD. CCD is a phenomenon where entire bee colonies vanish, leaving behind empty hives. Scientists have linked CCD to pesticide exposure, weakening bees' immune systems, climate change, altering flower bloom cycles and disrupting feeding patterns, loss of habitat. Due to deforestation and urban expansion, the disappearance of bees serves as a modern warning sign, signaling that human activity is disrupting nature in irreversible ways. Oceanic swarms, warnings from the deep. The ocean holds its own mysteries of swarms and sudden population booms, often tied to climate shifts and environmental instability. Jellyfish blooms. Jellyfish swarms have been increasing due to rising ocean temperatures and pollution, upsetting marine ecosystems. These massive swarms clog fishing nets, disrupt tourism, and overwhelm coastal waters. Some scientists see jellyfish swarms as an indicator of ocean degradation, warning that marine environments are failing. Mass fish die-offs. Sudden fish deaths, like those seen in lakes and rivers worldwide, raise concerns about water pollution and declining oxygen levels. Climate change is altering ocean currents, sometimes leading to large-scale fish displacements or extinction events. These disruptions highlight the fragility of aquatic ecosystems, reinforcing the idea that nature responds harshly when out of balance. Conclusion. When nature sends a warning, swarms and animal plagues have terrified humanity for centuries, often seen as omens of disaster or signals of nature's wrath. Whether in ancient mythology, religious prophecy, or modern science, mass movements of creatures reflect larger ecological shifts, forcing us to question whether these events are mere accidents, or warnings we must heed. While science provides logical explanations for swarming creatures, their impact remains deeply symbolic and unsettling. When nature acts on a massive scale, humans instinctively recognize that something is wrong, whether it's a crop-devouring locust swarm, an unexplained bird die-off, or collapsing bee populations. In the end, swarms and animal plagues remind us that we are part of a larger, interconnected system, and when balance is lost, nature always finds a way to warn us before it's too late. Throughout history and mythology, animals have been revered as protectors, guides, and symbols of resilience. Whether acting as sacred guardians in folklore, defending humanity from disasters, or serving as real-world protectors. Creatures of all kinds have been seen as forces of balance and preservation. While many myths focus on destructive beasts and apocalyptic signs, animal guardians offer protection, wisdom, and supernatural guidance in times of crisis, from cats warding off evil spirits to elephants symbolizing stability. Cultures worldwide have recognized the importance of these protectors, whether mystical or real. Let's explore how animals have safeguarded civilizations from catastrophe, offering spiritual, environmental, and even physical protection. Mythical protectors, divine beasts of protection. Many ancient societies believed certain animals possessed supernatural qualities, acting as guardians against misfortune and chaos. These beings were often linked to gods, serving as intermediaries between the mortal world and the divine. The celestial dragons, China and Japan. In Chinese mythology, dragons are symbols of wisdom, protection, and prosperity, believed to control rain and prevent droughts. Japanese dragons are linked to water and balance, guarding sacred sites and ensuring harmony in nature, unlike their European counterparts. Asian dragons are benevolent, safeguarding leaders, temples, and entire civilizations. The Egyptian cats, guardians of the underworld. In ancient Egypt, cats were sacred creatures, believed to ward off chaotic forces and misfortune. The goddess Batet, often depicted as a cat, was a protector of homes and fertility, ensuring safety from plagues and evil spirits. Killing a cat, even accidentally, was considered a severe crime, reinforcing their spiritual role as guardians. The Thunderbird, Native American mythology. In many Native American legends, the Thunderbird was a mighty protector, controlling storms and defending humanity from great evil. This powerful bird symbolized balance between nature and the spirit world, ensuring weather stability and preventing natural disasters. These mythological creatures embody the concept of animal guardianship, showing how cultures viewed certain beings as divine protectors against catastrophe. Real-world guardians, animals that protect humanity. Beyond mythology, animals have played crucial roles in defending people and ecosystems, proving their natural intelligence and protective instincts. Dogs, guardians of home and life. Dogs have been loyal protectors for thousands of years, ensuring safety in homes, battlefields, and rescue operations. In ancient Rome, dogs guarded temples and alerted citizens to danger. Modern search and rescue dogs help locate survivors in disasters such as earthquakes and avalanches. Many cultures believe dogs can sense danger before humans, making them natural guardians against unseen threats. Elephants, symbols of stability and memory. Elephants are revered for their wisdom, intelligence, and protective nature, often seen shielding their herds and even humans from harm. In India and Thailand, elephants are linked to deities like Ganesha, who removes obstacles and guides people through challenges. Elephants display remarkable emotional intelligence, mourning their dead and ensuring the survival of their communities. They are known to sense seismic activity, reacting to earthquakes before humans are aware. Dolphins, guardians of the ocean and human lives. Dolphins have a long history of rescuing humans from danger, reinforcing their reputation as oceanic protectors. Ancient sailors believed dolphins guided lost ships to safety, appearing as omens of good fortune. In modern times, dolphins have rescued swimmers from sharks and drowning incidents, showing their protective instincts. Their presence helps maintain marine ecosystems, ensuring balance and protecting ocean health. These real-world examples highlight how animals actively protect both humans and nature, reinforcing their role as earthly guardians. Animals as environmental protectors. Beyond individual protection, many animals are crucial defenders of ecosystems, ensuring the planet remains balanced and healthy. Bees, protectors of food and life. Bees are essential pollinators, ensuring food security and biodiversity. Their decline threatens global agriculture, making their survival critical for human prosperity. Protecting bees is an urgent environmental priority, reinforcing their status as guardians of nature's balance. Wolves, restorers of ecosystems. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park, they stabilized the ecosystem, controlling overgrown deer populations. Their presence allows forests to regrow, creating better habitats for all wildlife. Wolves serve as natural regulators, ensuring that prey populations do not overconsume resources. Sea turtles, guardians of the ocean. Sea turtles help maintain marine food chains. Ensuring ocean ecosystems function properly, they play a role in nutrient cycling, benefiting coral reefs and marine life stability. Conservation efforts focus on protecting turtles from climate change and pollution, recognizing their importance in oceanic balance. These environmental protectors prove that animals not only safeguard humanity but also ensure planetary survival, reinforcing their guardian role in nature. Spiritual meaning. Why are animals seen as guardians? Why do so many cultures view animals as protectors? The answer lies in human perception of the natural world. Animals are intuitive, sensing danger before humans do. They act with instinctual wisdom, ensuring survival in chaotic environments. Their presence in folklore, religion, and real-world events reinforces their importance as protectors against catastrophe. Across civilizations, animals have acted as guides, defenders, and guardians, proving their profound role in shaping our world. Conclusion. The legacy of animal guardians. From legendary dragons to real-world rescue dogs, animals have protected humanity and nature in ways both mystical and tangible. Whether acting as spiritual guides, environmental saviors, or loyal companions, their presence in myths and life reminds us that protection can come in unexpected forms. As we face modern crises, climate change, natural disasters, and ecological collapse, recognizing the power of animal guardianship is more important than ever. Whether mystical or earthly, these protectors remind us that balance, resilience, and wisdom are key to surviving catastrophe. Perhaps the real question isn't whether animals protect us, but whether we've done enough to protect them in return. Throughout history, animals have carried symbolic weight, representing both impending doom and salvation. Whether serving as omens, agents of divine punishment, or protectors against disaster, their presence in myth and legend reflects human attempts to understand fate, catastrophe, and the natural world. Examining animal myths from different cultures, we uncover how deeply entwined creatures are with humanity's fears, hopes, and interpretations of history. Whether as harbingers of destruction or symbols of renewal, animals have shaped our collective consciousness, reminding us that nature itself is a force both unpredictable and awe-inspiring.